to get started. My name is Dr. Simone Rasner, and I'm here to chat with you today on how to keep healthy during the cold and flu season naturally. And how many of you can relate to having a cold? Whether it be in the last week or month. Yeah, I've actually been treating this for the last 3 weeks, and so you are not alone. In fact, if you look at these statistics, 2 to 3 times a year, every adult is experiencing the cold and flu. And we all know that puts us out about 7 to 10 days each time, right? Or we're going with Western medicine drugs and we're kind of walking around in the zombie dance. And it's just not fun. So it affects everyone, and at such a scale that's really debilitating sometimes. You know, if you are starting to get up in age as well, it can be extremely dangerous even. If we look at the statistic, an average of 200,000 people are hospitalized every year from complications of the cold and flu. Things like bronchitis, walking pneumonia, ear infections, sinus infections, all of this can be really terrible things to deal with. And so, what can we do to help avoid getting the cold and flu? And really, that's the crux of, in my opinion, what Chinese medicine is all about. Is really, we have always considered the higher road of medicine to be prevention and how to stay balanced so that you never get sick in the first place. If we go back to 3rd millennium BCE, when we have our first official canon of Chinese medicine, it was kind of a story context between a philosopher and the Yellow Emperor of China. Now, the Yellow Emperor was very significant. He was a very, very smart man, and he decided that health was the most important thing to him because he realized that without health, he just couldn't really do much of anything else. And you guys that know who have had a cold and flu, it's exactly like that. So what he did is he said, okay, I want to find all the best doctors in all the lands that I rule, bring them right here, and we're going to create medicine to keep me well. So all the doctors came, and then he said to them, all right guys, here's the deal. Do your awesomeness, all that's great, but I will not pay you unless I am well. And so, based on that foundation, you can see why Chinese medicine has evolved to be a great preventative way of finding balance in the body and preventing illness. It was really designed for internal medicine. And what is Chinese medicine? Well, one of the things that it is acupuncture. Now, we at Source Empowered Wellness, we're a little bit different. We do something called community acupuncture, and you can see that we treat in a collective room, and we believe in making it accessible and affordable. So you can come in at any time for $35 and get well, and not just get well, but stay well. How many of you guys have acupuncture covered in your insurance? Yeah, well, not me. Actually, I don't know why I'm raising my hand. And if you do, you probably have what, like 10 to maybe 15 treatments a year covered, is that correct? So, in general, you have enough treatments to probably effectuate some change with something that you're actually dealing with. But do we have enough treatments throughout the year covered in our healthcare to stay well? And that's the piece that we feel passionate about. It's not just getting you well, but keeping it affordable and accessible so you can come in when you need to and get your monthly maintenance treatments so that you can prevent being ill. The other things under the umbrella of Chinese medicine are herbal medicine and lifestyle. So we're going to get into that and how that really helps. The first thing we're going to cover is, what is acupuncture? Has anyone in here ever gotten acupuncture? Yes. What was your experience like?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I went a couple times and had some back pain, but after a little bit, it didn't hurt. I thought it was going to be a lot scarier.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And that's actually one of the first questions I always get is, does acupuncture hurt? And you know, here I'm telling you that you may feel its sensations, and actually these sensations are a good thing. Some people feel waves of energy or maybe some pulsing and heaviness at the points of insertion. These are all good things and means that your chi is moving strongly. And basically that's what we're doing with acupuncture. we're activating the electromagnetic field, and we're realigning and creating balance of the fluids, of the energy, the blood, to bring them where they need to be, and to just give your own body's natural healing defense mechanisms a chance to arise and recuperate and rest your body. One thing I want to touch on about Chinese medicine that I think is so special, and that I think acupuncture really easily and beautifully accesses, is that Chinese medicine believes that the mind, body, and spirit are connected. And this is something that might be a little bit foreign in Western medicine, because they're very awesome at treating the pieces of those things. In Chinese medicine, we believe that the body and mind follow the spirit, or the shen. And this might sound kind of woo-woo, like what is spirit anyway? But I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to just see if that's something that you can relate to. So I actually have this friend who's a relationship coach, and he recently told me, that him and his partner are having some issues. And their theory in their relationship coaching world is that there's always a freedom seeker and there's always a stability seeker. And, it's great. You guys can kind of feel that out, right? That has some truth to it. And so he's the stability guy, really needs to know that he's loved, that his partner is where they want to be and all these things. But his partner is the freedom seeker, and she's like, it's time for me to expand, grow, I gotta peace out for a little bit, have my own time. So she said that to him, and she said, look, I booked a ticket, I'm gonna be gone for a week or so, I'll let you know when I'll be back. And he is mentally kind of freaking out, because that's not settling well for his stability-seeking needs. And after a few days, he's like, great, this time apart's been productive, it's been good. A few more days pass, and he's like, when are you coming home? I kind of need to know. And his partner says, I don't know, I still need my time. I'm still feeling things out. I'm kind of really into this project or whatever. And he was freaking out. And he worked himself out so badly in his head, and his heart was kind of hurting and feeling constricted, that he literally made himself sick. His body broke out in rashes, he caught a cold, he was super stressed, wasn't getting anything done. He was so sick that he had to be admitted to the hospital. He couldn't get fluids down his body. Now at this point, his girlfriend realizes what's going on, comes home, and automatically he starts miraculously healing himself. Now, how many can relate to that story where you've been so stressed out, and maybe it's not your relationship, maybe it's work, maybe it's something else, where you literally just feel so outside of your body and so scattered or so stressed and overwhelmed that you can't listen to your body, that you literally don't feel that alignment and housing for peace. Do you guys relate to that? I know I've made myself sick in those times when I've just been out of it. And so acupuncture is an awesome tool for modulating stress and our reactions to it. And we really undermine how much that can create illness and predispose us to colds and flus. One thing that I think is awesome is they've actually done some MRI studies while people have gotten acupuncture, and they've realized that the brain waves match those of somebody in deep meditation. And so how awesome would that be? You get to just go into a chair, have someone put some tiny, sterile, painless needles in your body, and you basically just get to take a nap for 30 minutes and heal. It's not a bad gig, right? So that's acupuncture. The next part of Chinese medicine is herbal medicine, and this is my all-time favorite. I actually really enjoy dorking out about herbs. I view them as plant allies, and I really resonate with our human ancestry, that we were originally hunters and gatherers, right? We didn't go and get drugs, we went into our environment and sampled what was around. And literally, by taking in all of this plant DNA and information, we created a library of antigens and triggers for our liver to react to, and bitters that we normally don't love, right? We don't love eating bitter food, but this is awesome for our digestion and our So I have a couple of examples of things up here that we make as tinctures. You can take these, as you see in the picture, as raw herbs, make teas, or you can take it in capsule form, like these evergreen formulas that we have. And then these are the tinctures. Now, one of the formulas I love for treating cold and flu is Guizhardon. If it's something viral, or if it's been a cold or flu that was started by that stress, like my friend, I'll add some herb called Chaihu or Buporum. Now, you can check out what's in this formula. It's a really simple and beautiful formula, and it's mostly food. This top left one here is cinnamon, and then the right is peony, and then you have dates, licorice, and again, you can add some ginger into your life and Buporum. All of these herbs together, mixed in the artful way that Chinese medicine has, creating formulas, really helps to protect your qi. And this is for that type of cold where it's not an intense fever, but you have a lot of sweating, you're totally fatigued. I love this formula because I see people that have deficiency in energy more than I see people that have an excess of energy. And this is that formula that's really going to add more energy to your life and protect your energy as well. Another herb that I have fallen in love with that's not as super mainstream as I feel like it could be is Lamatium. This tincture is so powerfully antimicrobial, antiviral, all the things, that they've even done some research it can help against TB. It's one of the herbs that I also go to help resolve candida and has huge, huge efficacy. If I start, literally I've been treating people with colds and flus for the last 3 months, or 3 weeks rather, and whenever I feel the slightest sore throat or anything, I just take this and I feel fine. I haven't caught a cold. I haven't had a cold in years. But when I was growing up, I had a lot of colds. I was always sick, and I had asthma and lots of allergy symptoms. Really, my immune system was overreacting and also deficient because it was overreactive all the time. And so this formula is really great for boosting your energy and giving you those extra resources to boost your immune system and kill anything that might come into the way of aggravating your immune system. So it has some Lamatium in it, it has some elderberry. All of these are great for the upper respiratory system. And then we have things like yarrow and reishi and shilajit, things that are really nourishing and enriching, all blended together artfully to even help thyroid conditions. I've been having some great success with that. Let's see, we also brought herbs that bust through your sinuses. So, anytime if you just have chronic sinus congestion, we're great at helping that with acupuncture, and these herbs change lives. Liver Love Tonic. For those of you that do have some kind of lowered immunity, I usually look to the liver as part of the equation of what's going on. Sometimes if we're overstressed and overwhelmed, then the liver also gets overloaded. And so this is a great regenerative formula, and the stress killer as well, helping to moderate the adrenal function and boost the immune system that way. So lots of beautiful plant friends to get involved with. The last thing that is super, super important is lifestyle. And I can't tell you guys much how important diet and drinking enough water is. And it's one of those things I know I've overlooked in the past, which is why I carry this around with me everywhere. It's a 32-ounce bottle of water, and it's a reminder to me that I need to drink 2 of these every day. How many of you guys drink enough water? Yeah, I know that sometimes it's a challenge, right? But having something that helps you remember is really huge, I think. If you are a coffee drinker, you need to add at least 6 to 8 ounces of water for each cup of coffee on top of these 2 32s, okay? Sleep, of course, is when our body heals. So those of you who get sick and drink coffee, it's a big no-no, you guys, because your body is getting tired to tell you that you need to rest. That's how you're going to recover faster. And so avoiding coffee and overstimulation is a huge way to speed up that recovery process from a cold or flu. And then just overall exercise and moving your lungs is a great way to protect your qi and add qi to your life as well. Qi being energy. How are you guys doing?
Good.
All right, good. So when it comes to diet, when you're in the midst of a cold and flu and you're ready to die, it's really hard to eat anything, right? But soups are going to be your best bet. They're really nourishing in electrolytes, and one of the things is that they help you hydrate as well, and they're warming. My favorite nourishing soup when I have a cold is miso soup. Do you guys eat sushi? You guys have probably gotten that soup before you've had sushi. It's warm and kind of salty and sweet. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And go ahead and put some green onions in it. Not just the green part, but that white part of the bowl where it has all those roots that we would normally throw those away. That's the gold medicine that's going to help bust open all the phlegm and all the sinus congestion and help you sweat out the cold faster. You can put some garlic, some ginger. All of these things are really great, and some lemon. You can see here too, just avoid raw stuff. Sometimes we think smoothies are really healthy for us, and we'll down one of those Jamba Juice immunity boosters when we're sick. That's just going to set you back because it's so hard to digest. Eat something that's really, really accessible and bioavailable, like lightly steamed foods and broths. And again, ginger. If you're feeling that nauseousness, or maybe you are already vomiting, ginger's not just going to help you sweat, but calm the stomach. That green onion is going to help you sweat and get through the nasal congestion. When you have a lot of heat symptoms, and that would be like fever, rashes, sore throat, take some mint. Mint can really do wonders. Cinnamon. Cinnamon was in that Tong formula, and that's going to help soften the muscles, get some more blood circulation. And then lemon is my other favorite go-to cold remedy. I learned this in Costa Rica, actually. And, we think of lemon, citrus in general, as having really high vitamin C. But lemon specifically is very antimicrobial, antiviral, antibiotic. And so I'll tell people, if it's small lemons, maybe 6 of them, or if it's a big lemon, maybe 2 or 3, just cut them, juice them, and chug them. Really awesome way to bust out a cold or flu. Now, if you are starting to get sick, and maybe it's just sinus congestion, do anything where your head gets below your hips. So forward folds. If you do yoga, down dog, or prasarita folds, these kind of things can help regulate some of the blood circulation, help push out some of the congestion, and help you heal a little bit faster. But in general, just rest, recharge. When it comes to lifestyle, one of the best things that you can do to align yourself with Chinese medicine is to find out which element you are dominant in. Now, what are Chinese medical elements? You can see in the picture we have wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And what these represent are metaphors in how the dynamics of energy relate from our organs to the seasons that we're in, and how they move and create balance for each other within our body. So for instance, let's see, we can start with wood. So wood is where we start in this generation cycle of how they move and connect. And wood is signified by the season of spring. And if we think about it, that's when we start to see more green, more upshooting earth or plants and trees. And that's the way that the liver, gallbladder, or the organs that are associated with the wood element move in our body. They move up and out. And it's not just like a chill, like I'm gonna relax here. No, it's like I'm ready to bust out through the ground and shoot up to the ground. That's when we feel our most active, right? So you can kind of see how the metaphor of wood fits for how the liver gallbladder act. And then, you know, you need wood, or you need water to grow wood, right? Water is actually the element of winter. I love this book, Staying Healthy with the Seasons. I gained a lot of insight, and it has recipes and really cool picture guides that just kind of sum up what winter's about. I'll just turn to it so you guys can see it. If I was organized, I'd just have it ready, but let's see. Yeah, here we go. So it charts out really clearly, and you're welcome to look up here at the chart afterwards, what winter's all about. And, I'm in autumn, but basically it has these for each one, and you can see the tissue of winter would be bones. So, you know, a lot of time when we have our water element out of balance, or if you are a water element dominant person, and maybe you haven't been eating properly for your water element, you might be predisposed to arthritic issues. The area of the body is the whole back, but usually you'll start to see some low back issues. The organs that are involved are the urinary bladder and kidneys, so you'll see issues that arise from those organs, whether you have adrenal fatigue, maybe you have UTI symptoms and edema, things like that. And so if you know what your actual element dominance is, and we have all 5 of them, you might be subdominant in other elements, but generally there's that one that you're really dominant in that you can plan to be healthiest in. And really getting to know also your personality. Water people are such a joy, and maybe it's also because I'm an earth person and I tend to nurture water. But you know, you guys are the babies and the princes and princesses. You just have this really curious, awe-inspired way of looking at the world. You're also the artists, the philosophers, the ones that have a really deep and like flowy state to you, kind of like the element of water. You know, you just don't have a real sense of time. You're on your own schedule of things, and you know, you can be really creative, really intuitive, just like water. We think about the way that it flows. And so, you know, there's acknowledgement in how you show up in the world, and maybe even a way to cultivate that deeper. So if you're really into this, go to our website, sourceempoweredwellness.com, and you'll see if you page down a little bit that there's a link to our quiz. Take the quiz, feel free to have fun with what your element is, and learn a little bit about yourself. Learn how to eat well, even exercises that are great for water types. And also know how you respond to stress. Because again, stress is one of those really insidious health issues. And it really is one of those that we undermine, and it just creeps up on us, and all of a sudden we can be sick. With water types, you tend to really start to develop maybe some internal or external fears that may or may not be known or unknown. And those fears can kind of get you into a hole where you just don't know how to deal with that. You may even create separation and loneliness, or find yourself depressed during wintertime if you haven't planned for balance. So I really encourage you to find out what your specific element is and have fun with that. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. And I hope that this information has been really helpful for you guys. I have brochures and explanations about our tinctures. We do all kinds of awesome things for reproductive, digestive health, pain management. We help with all kinds of chronic conditions. And of course, that good old stress and anxiety relief. And we also do acufacials as well. So if you're interested, feel free to come up and just sign in and stay on our mailing list. And I think that's all I have for you guys. If you want to just ask me any questions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The acupuncture facial, I mean, how does that work, or what do people come in for?
Yeah.
Do you put anything on, or is it just needles?
Yeah, these are great questions. I get those questions a lot. And what it is, if you look at this picture, you'll see that there's some local dermal painless needles that are inserted into the facial areas that people wish to target, and also into some of the main muscle groups that will help to, when they're toned, tighten up the face and allow for the skin to literally lift. And when you are applying local needles, what you're doing is you're activating your body's natural elastin and collagen. And so you're not applying anything to peel or scrub off the top layers of the dermal skin. You're actually rejuvenating from the bottom up and encouraging better circulation. So what I tell people is to plan to come in for at least 8 to 12 treatments, and come when you can carve twice a week sessions to see the maximum benefit. You also want to stay away from too much coffee or, like foods that are dehydrating, really salty, fatty stuff, so that you can see the best results in and out. And yeah, you'll see in about 8 to 12 treatments, all those change anchor. Your wrinkles will fill in. Your skin will just look brighter. It's really cool.
Is 8 to 12 treatments for everything? Like if you come in for something else, is it always 8 to 12?
Good question. When you have a cold or flu, if you're coming in, in the earlier stages when you're first catching it, you can probably kick it out with one session and maybe some herbs. It really depends on what you have going on. If you're coming in for a chronic pain condition, you may even be on a maintenance schedule after we get you to the place where in that 8 to 10 session window, and you've seen some changes anchor, you might be coming in chronically just to help make sure that the inflammation stays out. If you have a condition where you just got in a car accident and it's an acute trauma, and you come in right away and you haven't let it be months and months, basically, if you come in twice a week, 4 to 6 sessions is a great way to plan to see some resolution with that pain. And usually, digestive or chronic conditions, there's many layers to what's going on. And coming twice a week for at least 4 to 6 sessions is a way to gain momentum and starting a new, healthier, balanced pattern in your body. And once that's been reinforced, you start to taper the sessions down to once a week, once every other week, monthly maintenance as needed. Yeah.
Is there anyone who can't do acupuncture, or is it okay for everyone to try?
Yeah. Yes, that's a great question. I feel like, is there anyone that can't, like physically can't?
Yeah, like it's like any conditions that would make it not okay, or pregnant.
I would say that no, I think that everyone can. The thing that pops up in my head is babies. Their chi moves so fast that I found better success in treating them differently than with acupuncture, which can be such a different experience of sensations that it may be kind of harder for them. But I have treated babies. I have treated little children. I would say that anybody can do acupuncture, but I would do it with somebody that you very much trust and resonate with their style. There's many different styles. You may be somebody that really likes a gentle treatment, and there's styles out there and practitioners who practice that way. You may like the styles where it's trigger point release if you're an athlete and you have a lot of sore muscles or hamstring pulls or things like that, where you just respond better to some more aggressive treatments. I would say it's something that everyone can try and get some awesome effect from. One of the things that I get a lot is I've tried acupuncture and it didn't work. And I usually ask them, well, how many treatments did you come in for? And they'll usually say, oh, I just went in one time. So what I would recommend to anybody who really wishes to try acupuncture acupuncture is to literally try it for a regimen, for a treatment plan. It's just like any other natural medicine, whether you're taking herbs, chiropractic, naturopathy, you have to establish a new reinforced pattern for your body. And depending on what you've got going on, it could have taken a lifetime for you to get to this unbalanced pattern. So it takes time to unwind. And because you're doing it naturally, it's not a pill where you're just going to have all these crazy side effects. The side effects of acupuncture, you're going to sleep better, have better digestion, and feel calmer. You know, but it may take a few treatments till you start to see the changes anchor. Often you'll see changes right away.
Is there anything on the needles, or is it just a needle?
It's a totally sterile and surgical needle that's not hollow. It's surgically round. And it's as thin as a human hair. So most of the time people don't feel a thing and they just take a nap because they're so relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for your questions.
Yeah.
Those are great questions. Does anybody else have any other questions? All right, well, thank you guys so much for your time. And feel free to take a picture of our information or grab some of these brochures, and we can chat afterwards as well. Thanks so much.